Okey, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi dan selamat pagi kepada semua. Terima kasih banyak kerana menghadirkan diri ke siri webinar pengajaran siri ke-13 2020. So, kita mulakan dengan bacaan surah Al-Fatihah. Bismillah. Okay, first of all, thank you so much to our speaker, Dr. Ang Wei Lun. Let me take some moments to introduce him. He is the lecturer from the Department of Chemical and Process Engineering at Faculty of Engineering and Built Environment in UKM. He holds a PhD in Chemical and Process Engineering with research focusing on membrane separation and various physicochemical wastewater. I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrongly. Wastewater treatment technologies. So, but beyond that, beyond his research interest, Dr. Ang is also a very active member of online content producing. He has produced online courses, custom-made notes, over 50 videos for his students, specifically using for the purpose of revision and self-learning. He's a very active iPad content developer as well, and also recognized as an Apple teacher, you know. So he has both interests, the research aspects and the passionate teaching and learning and content producing. So today's webinar, for those of you who have been following our webinar series, today's webinar is pretty unique because unlike previous webinars where we do a lot of best practices of various aspects of teaching and learning online during the times of MCO, today's webinar, we're going to learn one particular application called OneNote. Yeah, and Dr. Ang's going to share with us some of the things that he has been using OneNote for. And for those of you who have OneNote, maybe you might even want to open it and follow through with some of the things that he's sharing with us. So without further ado, let's welcome our speaker for today, Dr. Ang, and his topic on teaching and learning through OneNote. Dr. Ang, the floor is yours.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Raihan, for the introductions. So good morning, everyone. My name is Wei Lun. So in this webinar, I'm going to share with you a little bit of experience on how am I using the OneNote for teaching and learning. So in this webinar, the first part will be on the introductions of the what is OneNote, and the second part will be on how to set up a class notebook. And the third, I will introduce some of the important features that could be utilized for teaching and learning, the features of OneNote, and the last part will be on the examples of practices that can be done for the OneNote. So let me share with the slide first. Okay, so if you can look at this screenshot, this is actually features of OneNote for Windows 10. And you can open OneNote either in a standalone app, as in this case, OneNote for Windows 10, or you can open it in Microsoft Teams. Just for your brief introductions, OneNote is best utilized if it is being paired with Microsoft Teams. So I will introduce some of the features that can be done using the Microsoft Teams and OneNote together. Now, what is OneNote? Probably you have heard about OneNote before. So OneNote is actually an online notebook where you can use it for note taking or organizing your notes. And because it is a digital binder, it means that you can hyperlink text, you can embed video and audio, you can add drawing and images in this OneNote. So it's a very powerful notebook, online notebook. And since this is a single digital platform, the teachers and the lecturers can give direct instructions, be in the forms of text, videos, you can slides or PDF to the students. And for guided practice and applications, because OneNote allows us as lecturers and teachers to access the students' notebook, so we can guide them to solve their problem. And last, the most important features of OneNote is note taking. So students can use this for their note taking. So for me, I'm using OneNote to develop, share, and deliver materials for the students, and I can access students' work and learning progress to see whether they have done their homework or not, and to check whether they have having some problems in solving the questions given or not. And it allows the students to work together seamlessly at school and home. So because there's a platform in OneNote where the students can contribute together in the problem solving, so we can allow them to work together to solve the problem. Now, there are so many types of note-taking apps out there. So why particularly OneNote? So I'm not saying that other note-taking applications or software are not that useful, but I prefer OneNote because it's it provides the flexible and personalized learning. It means that it gives the authority for the lecturers and the students to manage their notes properly according to their preference. And it is available anyway on any device, even offline. So students or lecturers can access OneNote through tablets, through desktop, laptop, or even their phone. And once you have synchronized the contents of the OneNote, you can access the similar content even if you are still offline. And this is accessible to all, especially this account is free for all the educator and students. So yeah, basically you don't have to pay anything to use this OneNote. And because students have the authority and the power to control and manage their note taking as well as the assignment through OneNote, so I believe this will increase their willingness to engage in the learning process. So to wrap up, the OneNote has the power for organizing, assessing, collaborating, and sharing contents. And the last one is actually the one of the features that I like the most, getting messy with the digital ink. As you can see from this sharing, all the notes are being written manually with a different colors. So this is the features that I like because I can use a different colorful pen or pencils to prepare my notes. So this is some of the brief introductions. Why do I use OneNote for my teaching? And moving on, we are going to go to the second part is on how to create a class notebook. So OneNote is the name of these applications or the app. Class notebook is the specific notebook under the OneNote for a specific class. So let's look at the PowerPoint slide here. So I'm going to go quickly on the steps to create a class notebook. Now, if you have an account for the in Microsoft Teams, okay, you can create a new course, and this will be the interface once you have created a new courses. Okay, then the next thing is that you're going to enter this interface, and if the class notebook tab is already present here, so you can set up a OneNote class notebook directly. But if this tab is not appearing here, you can go to the plus symbol here. So just click on the plus symbol and then you look for the icon of OneNote. So once you click this icon, then the class notebook will automatically appear in the tab here.
Dr. Ang, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
yes?
We don't see the class notebook icon that you were talking about.
Did you mean that you're
because
not?
You were showing here, and you said plus sign here. I can't see it.
Oh, okay, so maybe let me zoom in. So once you click on the plus sign, a new pop-up will come up. So this will be the pop-up. And then you identify for the OneNote icon.
I'm so sorry. What nampak tak apa yang Dr. Ang tunjuk?
Nampak, Prof.
Alright, okay. Maybe it's just my end. Okay, never mind.
Okay.
Please continue. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, it's okay. So once you click the OneNote icon here, the class notebook tab will appear here. So moving on to the next step, okay, you click on the setup a OneNote class notebook, And normally we start with a blank notebook. From existing notebook content means that the course has been offered in the previous semester, so you're going to reuse it again. So maybe you can create it from existing notebook, but if it is a new course, then you can use the blank notebook. So once you click the blank notebook, so this will be the overview of the features of your class notebook that will appear once you create it. As you can see here, there are 4 sections.
Okay.
The main sections.
Dr. Ang, so sorry to interrupt because we actually have a comment from our viewers, and they can't see what it is that you're showing. So it is right. Because I can't see. I tell you what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing right now is that page where you had this paper note where you had the words "how to create a class notebook."
Oh, okay.
We're still at that page.
Let me see.
Is that where we are right now?
Okay, I'm going to share again.
Sure.
Okay, I think.
Okay, brilliant. Now we see it.
Okay, so maybe I didn't share the screen.
Okay.
Okay. So come back. I will start again.
No worries.
Okay. Now I'm going to show you how to create a class notebook through Microsoft Teams. So if you have a Microsoft Teams account, so normally we are going to create a course using the Teams. So here for this purpose, I'm setting up a demo OneNote class notebook. So this is a new course specifically designed, developed for the webinar purpose. So once you create a new course here, you look at the tab here, whether you can look at the tab here, whether the class notebook tab appears on the menu bar there or not. Okay, so if the class notebook tab does not appear here, so you can move on to the next one, which is you click on the plus sign. Okay, you click on the plus sign and a new pop-up will come out where you have the selections of the apps or the app that should be added to the menu bar. So look for the OneNote menu, OneNote icon here. So click on the OneNote icon and the class notebook tab will appear in the menu bar of the Microsoft Teams. So once you set up a new course and then you have the class notebook here, you can click on the setup a OneNote class notebook. So normally we start with a blank notebook for new course. Unless you have already developed the notebook for the courses in the previous semester, then you can use the existing notebook. But for the purpose of demonstrations, I'm going to choose the blank notebook. So once you click on the new class notebook, it will show you the features of the OneNote class notebook. Now, there are 4 main sections of the class notebook. The first is the collaboration space, and the second is on the content library, and the third is teachers only, and the last is students notebook. So don't worry about these sections. I'm going to go through on each of the particular sections and their functions later on using the OneNote app. So click next and they will give you the authority to set up the sections or files for the students. So imagine that this class notebook is a digital notebook. So it's a digital file. So there should be a subsections under this digital file. So probably for students notebook, you would like to have handouts, class notes, homework, and quizzes, the subsections for the notebook, so that you can allocate your teaching materials, your assignment, and tutors accordingly, so they can find out the materials in the particular sections. Then that would be the last step for the creations of the class notebook. So once you click next in the previous step, you'll come to this class notebook features, the interface. Now, did you realize that we have, if you look at the sections on your left hand side, so you have a collaboration space, content library, teachers only, and below are the name of the students. So I will show you the contents of these sections later on. So this will be the steps, the simple steps to create a class notebook for the students. And yeah, this will be the subsection for main sections, but don't worry, I know it is a little bit blurry and small. Never mind, we'll explore it using the app later on. And yeah, this is actually the interface of the students, where if they use their phone, this is the feedback from my student. They say if they use their phone, they can easily look at the subsections of the notebook. So it's very user friendly because they can directly view it from their phone. So
Dr. Ang, if you don't mind, we have a conversation as you go along.
Yes.
So these subsections that you talk about, these are subsections that you made, right? It's not the system automatically generated it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Here. So at this particular step, actually you can rename it, you can delete, you can remove, you can add, depending on the need of your design for your classroom.
Right.
And don't worry, even though you created it and then after that you want to change again, you can still make the changes.
Okay, good.
So these are the simple steps to create a class notebook using the Microsoft Teams. So the next is I'm going to show you the real features of the Microsoft OneNote. Okay. Now, once you enter OneNote for Windows 10, so the first is, of course, you are going to have a welcome sections automatically. This is the default page given by Microsoft OneNote. So this here, you can get the link to for any questions and any problems that you encounter in OneNote. Now, I'm going to highlight the main features of OneNote. So the first is collaboration space. So collaboration space is actually is open to everyone in the class. So it means that all the students, all the lecturers, they can read and they can edit directly in these sections. So any documents that you put into collaboration space, all the students, all the teachers, they can edit, they can comment, they can do anything, editing in the page here. So it's good. It's a good space for the students to brainstorm and maybe to have them to work on group projects. And yeah, so this is the functions of a collaboration space. And then the next is content library. So content library is the section where normally teachers and lecturers put their lecturers notes. So content library, the students do not have the authority to edit anything. They can view it, but they cannot edit the content there. So it's good for us to store our teaching materials, the slides, or maybe our own personalized notes there. So the students can view it and then they can copy the page into their own notebook. So this is the sections where you should keep your materials in case you don't want the students to edit or make any changes to it. Now, teachers only. So this teachers only sections is only viewable by the teachers. So the student does not have the student could not access this section. So this section is good for teachers and lecturers because when we want to develop teaching materials, we prefer to have privacy. So we don't want the students to look into our half-back teaching lessons. So we can use this teachers only sections. We can create a new pages here. So we can prepare our teaching materials, our assignment, tutorial, and whatever. Okay, so that yeah, before we release these materials to the particular sections of the student's notebook. And the last one is actually, you can see the name of the students. So each of the students, they have the same content here, the same section. So according to my teaching plan, normally I create the 4 sections here. So the first one will be on the tutorial and exercises, where I will put all the questions on for tutorial and exercises purposes here. Assignments means this could be a graded assignment. So I will pause the question here and then student have to answer it. Lectures materials will be on the teaching materials that I would like to share with the students, and then the quizzes. Okay, so yeah, the good thing about OneNote is that I can access the students' notebook, so I will be able to know whether the students have worked on their assignment or not, and whether let's say, because sometimes we want the student to do some home practicing, so we don't have the platform for us to monitor whether they have done their work or not, whether they have done their own learning or not. So using this platform, I can actually look into their notebook and see whether they have done the work or not. Okay, so these are the general, the four main sections of the class notebook: collaboration space, content library, teachers only, and the student's profile. Now, I think it would be good for me to quickly go exploring the functions of a class notebook. Now, the first is to-do list. If you look at the content here, one of the features that I like about OneNote is that I can have a to-do list. So to-do list means that because I'm aware that online learning is getting more popular and compulsory for most of the university and even in the secondary and primary schools. So we have a lot of courses and we have a lot of activities for the students. Either we want to deliver chapter 1 in week 1, in week 2, we want to have a tutorial, we want to have assignment, quiz, and all those kind of things. So we can have a to-do list as a guidance for us. So once I've done this, then I can just click tick. So it means I've done that. So to get to-do list, basically is quite straightforward. You right click and then you go for this to-do list, or you can highlight as an important task, questions, or remember for letter. So it's up to you. The tagging is a random. Okay, now let us explore on the home tab. So home tab will be here on top of the OneNote here. So if you look at the home tab, the functions here is quite similar to a Microsoft Word. So I'm sure if you are familiar with Microsoft Word, then this is not too difficult for you to work on. So you can change the font size and the type. All the basic editing of the font format can be done here. You can have a bullet point and the numbering, alignments, and so on. Okay, so we have done with the home tab. The next is on the insert tab. So here, this will be one of the features that will be frequently used in your Note developing. So table means that we can insert table. We can insert table here. So depending on how many rows and how many columns that we want to have, so we can just click it and then you can type table and so on. So a simple table. And file, for file. So file, we have different functions here. So you can insert any files here, be it in Microsoft Word or maybe for the the PDF version. So let's say I insert the Microsoft Word. Now there are three functions, three forms that you can insert files here. One is you upload to OneDrive, because if we already have the Microsoft Teams account, so definitely we have the OneDrive. So you can store the file in OneDrive and then you just need to insert the link. Or you can insert it as attachment. So when students click on this attachment, they will open up the Microsoft Word. Or insert as printout means that you directly have the document shown here. So maybe for this, I'll just click insert on as a file. So if you click on this icon, it will direct you to Microsoft Word. Okay. Now another one is a printout. Printout means that if I insert a printout, the features. Okay, something is wrong. Never mind. Let me see if I can use the file. Insert as printout. So printout means that the document will appear in in your page here. Okay, so it's up to your preference. You want to attach it as a link, as a file, or as a printout. And of course, you can insert pictures. Now, one student feedback to me is that they say this features is very useful because if they have an assignment where they solve it using manual calculation, so what they need to do is just insert picture and then from camera. So they just need to use their phone and then take the pictures, and the solution will automatically appear in the page here. So they don't have to go through computer. As the student told me that in the previous semester, they have to, once they solve the problem, they have to take the pictures using their phone, and they have to send it to the laptop to upload it to the learning management system. So I think that way is a little bit, clumsy. So they prefer this. Okay, and then you can have a video. You can insert online video here. So yeah, you can get the link. I think I have it. Let me see. I will just copy a link of my own video here. So this is one of the video that I prepare for my students. And I'm using the OneNote features for the note taking and recording to it. So once I embed the video here, so students can click on it, and I think yeah, the video is going to run. Okay. Okay. So this is the features that you can use, and yeah, link is the hyperlink. You can hyperlink the videos here and the files. Audio means that for certain part of the notes, let's say if you are having a notes here, chapter 1. Okay, now if you want to explain or provide an additional explanations for these steps, let's say, so you can use audio. Means that the students, not only the students can view the notes in the form of text, but also they can listen to your additional explanation, because sometimes it's easier for us to insert an audio explanation on top of the text. So you can use the audio functions here. And meeting details, this will be linked with your Microsoft Teams. So to set an alert of the meeting, and some simple features of the symbol for equations, and yeah, you have some equation tools. This is useful for mathematical calculations. And then I think stickers probably is more appropriate for primary and secondary schools, where the teachers can, I don't know, it depends on how you use it. So you want to say well done for their for solving the assignments, or for getting done the project. So this is more for the kids probably.
I'm sure tertiary students like to be told well done as well, right? So,
yeah, sure. Yeah, so maybe we can edit the word well done, or maybe you have a full score for it. So it depends on how you use it. And I think, yeah, one of the interesting features of OneNote is that researchers. So researchers is actually an embedded information searching platform. So let's say if I want to check on some informations about University Kebangsaan Malaysia, so I can just type it, and this will be like a mini information searching. So you can have a check on the informations, and then if you think this information is useful for your teaching, so you can just click the add button here, so add to page. So all the informations will be automatically embedded into the text. So this will be good for maybe you don't want to type the whole thing, and you found out an interesting notes from the website, so you can directly embed it into the features here. So it means that you don't have to go to Google, copy and paste into the page here. So you can use the researchers functions here. Okay, so we have done with the insert tab. The next is the interesting part. So this is the powerful draw tab. But I think these features is could be fully utilized if you have a tablet, or maybe you have a phone, because this one is best utilized if you have a stylus or Apple Pencil. Okay, so you can use pencil or pen, and you can use different types of color. So I like the colorful ink here. So you can use the different colors to attract the attention of the students. You can use a rainbow, and this is about the galaxy color. So I like these kind of colors. So I like to prepare my notes colorful so that the students would not feel bored when they look at the black and white notes. So, and then some simple functions like you have to insert shapes and then math equations. Okay, so this will be the draw tab. So you see I'm drawing here. So this is the inking functions. Okay, so if you have a stylus or maybe a tablet, a pencil or pen, so these functions can be fully utilized. And then the view is on to control the viewing of the page here. So this immersive reader is for those who have for students who have a preference to learn through listening. So if you have a notes here. I'm sorry, I have to click back to text selection. So if you have a notes here, some students they prefer to read it themselves. Some they prefer to listen. So they can use the immersive reader to ask the app to read it out for them. Okay, and yeah, page color. So you can change the color of the page so that it doesn't appear as blank as this. And then you have the rules of lines. You can have a grid lines, or you can have a horizontal root lines. So it depends on your preference. And then I think, the functions of hide authors here. So for all the text that we type in, okay, if we switch on these functions, then let me see, collaboration space. I just showed it here. Now, if you look at this, you realize that there are some annotations on the beside of the text here. So it means that this is the author who wrote the text. So we'll be able to differentiate which students contribute to this particular section of the project. But you can switch it on and switch it off depending on your preference. So this is under the view functions. Okay, we have done with the draw and then the view. And the last is on the class notebook. So class notebook is the sections where we manage our lectures lessons. Okay, so I'm going to use this for the demonstrations. The demonstration how to use this. Okay, let's look at the. Okay, yeah, this is actually my own what do you call it, filing. A listing what should I do and deliver for this webinar. So we have done with the I'm done showing you the preparing materials using the videos and so on, and then I can use the ink to solve to deliver the lessons in the classroom. So probably I'm just going to share with you one of the notes here. So in the class I will develop the contents myself, and then sometimes I prefer to type it, and sometimes I prefer to write it using manually. So it depends on your preference. Now, normally in the class, I'm just going to left these sections blank. So step 1 and step 2, and then the solution will be blank. So I'll build. I'm going to use the inking functions, and I'm going to show the solutions right away during the lessons, during the lectures. Okay, so I'm going to show them how to solve this using different colors to highlight the important points and so on until the final solution. And the note that I'm going to give the students is actually a blank one. So this is without solution. Now, the reason that I'm doing this is because I want the students to practice it themselves when they will go back to their home. So because I recorded the teaching lesson, so they have to view back the lessons, and then they have to do their own note taking and self-learning in the classroom. I mean, when they are back to their room or maybe their home. So it's a kind of a what you call forced compulsory or not forced voluntary task for the student to learn themselves.
You have an audience member saying awesome to this, so well done.
Thank you very much.
My awesome moment was when I saw numbers that are colorful. I think I would have enjoyed math at school if the numbers were colorful.
Yes.
Rather than black and white, you know.
Yeah,
so,
because I think the colorful features actually is a kind of attractions for the students, so that they don't feel bored and they don't feel tired looking at all the text, and it's more personalized because I'm the one who wrote it myself, who wrote it myself. So it means that I put effort into developing the teaching and learning contents. So okay, now moving on, once we have developed the notes, we want to share with the students. There are several ways that we can share the notes to the students. Either we put it in the content library. So how to put it in the content library? I can just, let's say this is chapter 1. Okay, if you go to the class notebook tab here, you can see we have distribute page. We have copy to content library. So if you click this copy to content library, and one small window will pop up here. So it depends on your internet connection speed. If you have a smooth internet speed, you can just click it and then click next. And yeah, the class notebook demo one, not class notebook. So copy. Then you just wait for it to finish the synchronization, and this chapter 1 content will appears under content library. So maybe we'll just give it a little bit of time to finish the synchronization. So we'll come back to this later on. But I'm just going to show you that there are several ways for us to move the different pages here. One is copy to content library. Another one is that you can right click and then you can move and copy. So you can move to copy to either the content library, the similar procedures, or you can give it to the students as a lecture materials. So you can move it there, you can copy it there. So it's up to your the preference, which functions that you prefer. So we've done with the content library. We can direct sending it to the students. Normally for notes, I prefer to put it in content library, and I will ask the student to get the materials from the content library. So students, they should go to, let me see if I can make it synchronize. Okay, the student can come to content library and then need to, okay. Okay, so we'll just wait for the app to synchronize. Never mind. So the student can come to this content library page, and they can right click and then copy it to their own lectures materials here. Okay. So kind of forcing the students to do a little bit of work to get the teaching materials. Okay. And yeah, it's a kind of another way for me to check whether the students do the self-learning or not. Because if the materials is in content library, it won't appear under any sections of the students' notebook. So if they're under the lectures materials, I don't see any class materials. It means that they don't that they never go to copy the contents from the content library. Okay. So,
right. So that means you prepare the binders, but they have to fill up the pages on their own.
Yes.
So I assume when you say lecture materials, I assumed at the beginning that whatever you prepared will automatically go in there, but actually it's not.
So they have both way.
Oh,
depends on how we use it. If let's say I want to force the student to do a little bit of work and I want to monitor whether they have do the learning or not, so I just put it in content library, so they have to do a little bit of work. And then if I want to share with all, I can direct sending to specific sections for the students. So I can go to distribute page. So you see, I can distribute to individuals. So means that I'm going to select the students here. So I can select deliver it to maybe just 2 of the students. So I can click next, and yeah, you see I can push this page to either lecture materials or quiz and so on. So it depends on how you use it. A little bit of trick to check whether the students they follow up with their learning or not.
Yeah.
Okay, and yeah, my practice
shouldn't come across as if you're spoon feeding them. You know,
yes.
They need to shoulder the responsibility of learning as well. I agree with you. Yeah.
Yes. So my practice is that I like to prepare the notes and with incomplete example solutions, because most of the time I feel that the students they like the notes with full solutions. So what they do is actually they just use their eyes to look through all the solutions. But I think that practice is not that useful, especially for a subject related to calculation.
Right.
Because for calculation, you have to practice and then you get to have to get familiar with it. So that's why I prepare the notes without the solutions. So maybe I just put a little bit of hints there and guidance steps to solve the problem. So they have to refer this, and if they can't solve it, they have to refer back to the video. So it means they are doing revisions. So we have done with the sending notes and then preparing the assignment. So I can share the assignment to the content library, or I can send it to a particular section of the student notebook. So let's say I have a assignment 1 here. Okay, I can copy to content library, but because assignment, I want the students to solve it. So I'm not going to, I want them to have the question ready in their folder. So I just distribute it and then distribute the page. So go to assignment. So I'm just click assignment. So means that once this assignment is being distributed to the assignment folder, the subsection, all the students will receive the assignment in their assignment section here.
Right. So that means like before semester begins, you will prepare everything in the teacher only section.
Yes.
Then per week, you will kind of distribute it accordingly. Is that how,
yes.
how you used to work it? Yeah.
Yes. So we can have a group project to collaborative space. So for group projects is that sometimes when the students turn in their solutions, we do know who is the one contributing to section A or section B and so on. So if we ask them to work on the group projects in collaboration space, okay, we can create the group, the group grouping here. So let's say maybe for assignment 2, okay, to create the group, I can go to review students' work. Let's see. Okay, maybe not at this part. I'll show how to create the group assignment later on. But just to show the solutions done by my students, I actually asked few of my students to demonstrate. So I give them a long questions, and yeah, I can type a little bit of the questions, and sometimes I feel lazy to type so many figures and the text here. So I just directly
I can't imagine Dr. Ang being lazy, seriously, honestly.
No, I mean, because the wording is a little bit too much.
Right,
so
right.
I just utilize the functions of the insert image. So I just screenshot from the book, and then yeah, we fully utilize the functions of the text, the insert image functions here. So the student will work on the solutions. So they solve it, and then they can use text, they can use inking, and they can use insert from the manual calculation and so on. So we can see that how the students contributed to the completions of this assignment. So maybe one student's LW will be working on step 1 and step 2, and then another one will be working on step 3 and step 4. So here we will be able to evaluate how much does each student contribute to the completion of the projects.
Okay, as a non-math person, I come from the humanities. So as a non-math person, when you have step 1, step 2, that means LW needs to finish step 1. Then the next person needs to look at what LW has done with step 1 and then propose step 2, or how does that work? And this is a collaborative assignment, right?
Yeah. So actually,
yeah.
If you look at the original questions, okay, I already shared it here also. The original questions is only until this part. So the original question is from here. Suppose that until the last part here, the answer here. So it means that the step 1, step 2 is actually done by the student themselves.
Right.
They can solve it without stating which one is step 1 and step 2. I mean, it depends on how they work together.
Right.
They can directly give the solutions without stating the step 1, step 2, and so on. But I mean, it's up to their discussions and how did they prefer to solve the questions. But of course, for these solutions, the solution in step 3 and step 4 requires the answer from step 1 and step 2.
Right, got it.
So, yeah, means the students somehow they have to interact with each other to allocate the sections or the solutions that each of them should solve it.
I never knew math could be collaborative. I thought it was an individual private affair, you know. So yeah, good to know.
Yeah, so for long questions, normally we prefer them to work together to solve it, especially on the projects base. So moving on. So yeah, we can create a group under distribute page. Now, because collaboration space, everyone can access it. It means that sometimes maybe sabotage can happen. So maybe other the students from other groups, they can delete the work, they can change it and so on. So that's why we need to have a group assignment. So we can create a group assignment here, go to the distribute page and then group distribution. So once we go to the group distributions, we can create a new group. So maybe this will be group 1. So group 1 will consist of these 2 members, and then we can save it. Yeah, and then we can go to the maybe tutorial, distribute to the group. So I distribute this to the particular group 1. So means that there will be the one who can work on these projects. So other members, they do not have access to this. So this is to prevent maybe some students, they are quite naughty. So they want to make the solutions of their friends look messy and reduce their marks on some kind of sabotage activities. So this is the group projects. Preparing quiz. So for this quiz, I think sending to particular sections of the quiz is quite, I already showed you, you can distribute page to the students to their particular quiz section. Now, one I want to highlight is that we can log the students' work page. So because for quiz, there will be as due date for the quiz. So once the due date has passed, we don't want the student to do any changes on the quiz anymore. So we can log the students' work page. Let me see. Log the students. I think I will show it later on because I need to access to the Microsoft Teams. Never mind. I will show it in the following sections. Then okay, student can answer the assignment using all the features of notebook. They can use a manually written solutions. They can screenshot. They can insert image and files and so on. Depends on their preference. And then yeah, students can create their own notes and exercises and ask me to comment. So let's see. Maybe I go to lectures materials. So students, they have their authority in their own notebook. So they can create the pages here. They can create a new pages here. So let's say I ask them to create self-learning chapter 1. So they will they can do their own summarizing on the chapter 1 that they already done. So I can view their notes and see whether they did it correctly or not. So this is the additional functions that the student have the authority in their notebook. So they can create their own notes. Maybe they, I don't know, some students, they prefer to have simplified versions of notes, maybe for quick revision and so on. So they create their own notes in their own class notebook. And then encouraging self-learning and collaborative learning. So I already showed you how did I encourage them to learn themselves by giving them additional assignment exercises, or maybe the incomplete notes, so that they have to do a little bit of work to complete the notes. And then, yeah, one function is that the OneNote assignment can be linked to Microsoft Teams. So it means that we can develop the assignment using the Microsoft OneNote here. And then we can link this as assignment to Microsoft Teams. So let me go to Microsoft Teams to demonstrate to you how to link the assignment here. Microsoft Teams. Okay. Can you see the
Yes.
okay, so now let's go to assignment, because sometimes we prefer to have the assignment written manually. So if you want to do it, the questions will be written manually, so we have to use it in the OneNote. So here I can choose create assignment, or it can be a quiz. It depends on the lesson. So maybe this is assignment 3. Okay, and here, if you look at this, add resources. Okay, so just click on add resources, and then we can go to class notebook, go to teachers only, I already prepared the assignment 3, so just need to click on assignment 3 and then attach it. So I want it to appear in a student's class notebook under assignment. So I click done. So then when I assign the students with this homework, so students through the Teams, they can access the assignment 3, and when they click on the link, they will be referred back to this assignment 3. So they will have their assignment 3 appears here. So you see, I created an assignment. Oh, sorry, I think I didn't share the screen. Hold on. What screen did you?
We saw the names. We saw the names.
The name means is under Microsoft Teams or? Okay. Now, so once I created the assignment in Microsoft Teams, this assignment 3 will automatically appears under the assignment sections of the student's notebook. So they have to answer the questions. They have to answer their solutions here. And then the good thing is that we can access their solutions Teams. We can access their solutions here. Now, there are 4 students in this class, so I can see not turn in means that they haven't done the solutions. And then I can give a feedback. So if I can just click onto this, I can view their solutions in the OneNote even in Microsoft Teams interface. So you can check on their solutions and then you can enter feedback. And if this is a graded assignment, you have functions of key in the marks. So why do I link the assignment to this Microsoft Teams? Because I like the functions of export to Excel. So this is especially important if you want, if this is a graded assignment. So you want to have all the marks being given properly to the students in the proper format, so you can ease your work to put it into the marking files. So you can use the export to Excel. Okay, so once you grade it, and then you can export to Excel. Then the next one will be okay. So we have done with the assignment where I showed you that we can link it with the Microsoft Teams. So this is especially useful for the graded assignment. But if you're just using it if you just want to have to let the students to work on additional exercise, maybe you don't have to link it to the assignment in the Teams. So okay, the group projects already showed you in collaboration space how the students work together. Now for the assignments, let me see the students. So if the student already done their solutions here, so we can give commands and mark. Let me see if I did some quizzes. So if they have done it correctly, then I'll just give a simple text. Or you can, if they did it wrongly, maybe you can highlight it and then you mention or give some hints or suggestion on how to improve it. So
Dr. Ang, the tick that you gave, that is digital also, huh? You
digital
didn't
ink, yeah.
Download it, whatever,
so
right?
we can use the digital ink here.
Yeah.
If this part, this part is wrong, so you can annotate it directly on even in the printout here.
Right.
So you can give a full mark. So full mark is 10, so you put a 10 here. So it depends on the nature of the assignment. If it is not a graded one, so you can directly mark it here. If it is a graded one, advise to link it to Teams so that all the marks can be export in the Excel form. So yes, yeah. Another thing is that we can utilize the OneNote for monitoring and assisting the students. Okay, sometimes we do know in the class, we do know some students, they might be a little bit slow in their learning and they might need additional help in terms of the problem solving. So perhaps based on their preliminary testing or maybe their preliminary semester results, we can identify the students who are a little bit weak in this particular subject, maybe in this field. So imagine that you have 100 students. It's impossible for me to view all their homework. So, but I can identify maybe 10 of the students who might be having problem with this. So I can ask them, make them compulsory to solve the questions, and then I can view their solutions. I can view their solutions and see whether they managed to solve it or not. And if they could not solve it, I would encourage them to write out their problems. So maybe they're stuck at this place, or maybe they misunderstand a little bit about a certain aspects. So they can give the comments here, and even if their solution is wrong, but it's good for me to monitor them because I can check where did they stuck, and maybe I can use it as a feedback for my future teaching. Maybe the aspect that I should be emphasize more, or maybe I should change the way I explain to the students about that topics or concept. So this is a very useful monitoring and assisting the students, especially those in need of help. So I can monitor the students whether they did their note taking, solving the exercises, quizzes, and assignment. Because if sometimes we don't know, if we ask the student to turn in hard copy solutions, if they don't submit it, normally we give them 0 marks because we think that they didn't put effort into it, but maybe they're stuck somewhere. They don't know how to proceed. So using this OneNote features, we can help them to complete the assignment or maybe the exercises, because we can directly give the comments on their solution. We say maybe this part is wrong, so maybe you can proceed with this way. We give some hints and guide them. So this is for the monitoring and assisting the students in needs. If they're stuck at the questions, maybe give hints and comments to proceed. Now, this is about page locking under review student work. So remember I told you we want to lock the quiz, because if it's already past the due date, so we don't want the student to do additional changes to it. So we can go to the class notebook and then review students' work. So quizzes, I go to quizzes. And then quiz one, let's say I want to stop the student from editing the quiz one. So you see the functions of page locking. So there's a lock symbol at the right hand side of the name of the student. So it means that the page is already locked. The student could not do any editing on the particular page. So if I want to unlock it, I'll just click it. Now, I mean, this page is already locked, so I can just click it and then I can view the solution of the student. So I don't have to go through each of their students' profile to look into the particular quiz. I just need to use the review student work and then I click on their name and their solution will automatically appear here. So if you want to unlock it, just click the page locking and then we unlock it. So it means that the students can edit their solutions. So if I want to lock it, then just click page locking. You can select all and then apply. So the student will not be able to do any editations. Okay, so this is
for instance, you highlighted, you've got this rainbow highlight over this particular section. So if it's unlocked, can the student work on the same page or would it be on a different page?
If it is unlocked, the student will be able to edit it.
And they can just upload that part, whatever it is that's wrong with that part, and work on that.
Yes. Yeah. So so this review student work is the place where we are using it for to lock the page. And then moving on is giving feedback and maybe giving the marks. So giving feedbacks means I can use the ink functions to give a comments on their work and provide feedback. And yeah, if you want to give, if you want to check their assignment, you can just use the review student work and then just choose their name and their solutions will be automatically appears here. So this is good, especially when you have a lot of students. Just imagine if you have 100 students, I think it will be a very sturdy work for us to click on each of the students and go to that particular quiz and assignment. So we can just utilize the review student work and then choose that particular assignment or quiz and then choose the particular students and their solution will automatically appears here. So this will be the functions for giving feedback and marks. And yeah, a little bit of sharing on some of my notes taking. It looks a very a long notes, but I think students there can learn a lot, not only based on the solutions here, but also additionally, I have some comments here. So to keep reminding the students on the some of the important steps or maybe some of the important concept. So yeah, it really depends on how you utilize the functions and how you model your contents and the delivery method for the students. And
I must say, I really like your use of colors.
Yeah,
I really like it.
Okay, so yeah, I think that's all for the sharing. I think I've covered all the important features and the functions how could be utilized the OneNotes for teaching and learning for us lecturers and teachers as well as for the students. So maybe yeah, appreciate if there are some questions from the audience and I'll try my best to answer it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, one more comment is that distribute new section. So this distribute new sections means that in case in the coming semester you're going to teach the same subject again, so we don't have to prepare or we don't have to copy everything manually. just use the distribute new sections and then click on the distribute new section. Means that we are moving the whole, let's say, teaching the teachers only section to the new courses, the new class book. So you don't have to do everything from the starting. So each of the courses actually has one class notebook. So this is the demo OneNote class notebook. This is for the demonstration purpose of the course. And then previous semester I'm teaching this linear algebra subject. So I have this class book for linear algebra. So I have a lot of students here. And yeah, so you can have different sections, you can have different pages. So this is the planning for my teaching. So because we have a lot of learning activities, quizzes and revisions and so on. So I have to do a table for the learning activities and schedules to remind myself so that I won't forget it. So once I've done it, then just take it. And then, yeah, some reminder for myself on the planning of the teaching and the learning.
If you could stay on this page, Dr. Ang, the teaching planning, huh? So previously, when you showed us the demo, it was called teacher only. So in this one, you've got teacher only, and underneath that, you've got teaching planning. That one is what you added, is it?
Yeah, we can add it. You can right click and then you can rename the sections.
Right.
And then you can click the add section here. Okay. So it depends on how, yes, because I'm preparing video, so means that I need to have notes on specifically for the videos. So I put videos on problem. So it's more to management and sorting of documents.
Right. I was gonna get into that actually. Since you're done with the sharing, let's start with some questions, some conversational questions. So when you are preparing your course, say for instance semesters coming up, and you don't have any teacher only stuff prepared because this is a new course, so you're not teaching linear algebra, you're teaching something else, or maybe linear algebra level 2 or something like this. So what's your first thing that you do when you go to OneNote for Windows 10? Do you go straight to teacher only? Do you start with planning? Do you kind of brainstorm what I want to do? What are the things I need to do? What videos I need to get? Do you brainstorm? What's your strategy? What's the first thing?
So if let's say I'm being assigned a new course, so the first thing is, of course, I need to understand the contents of the courses. So after we understand the content of the courses, then we have to plan for our teaching delivery methods. So it depends on the course, the contents. Maybe some contents is better delivered in terms of slides, or maybe the PDF, or maybe videos and so on. So based on each of the contents, I will develop the teaching delivery approach. And then after I come up with the planning, then I'm going to move everything into the teacher only sections. So it means that maybe chapter 1 is better delivered in the form of videos. So I will just start to plan on how am I going to develop the videos. Probably I need to have notes. So I have to the notes can be in the form of a PDF, or maybe I have to write it manually. So I just develop the contents here. So develop the contents. So let's say this is for the video. So I'm just going to develop the contents, and then I'm going to use it for the teaching and for the videos purpose. So yeah, I would say that first you have to understand the content of the courses, because the contents will decide which method or which approach will be the best for us to deliver the teaching. And then after we have decided on the teaching approach, then we'll see how could we match it with the functions existing in the OneNote to fully utilize the functions of the OneNote for our efficient teaching and learning process.
Right. And if you could go back to the teaching planning button, yeah. So I noticed this is during the MCO, just post when we started the semester again on the 27th of April. So this is basically what you really did this semester that we just finished.
Yes.
Right. So was there anything specifically unique in the way you approach the use of OneNote this particular semester on the 27th April until June? Was there anything particularly different? Because I noticed that you've got the platforms there. You've got shout out to UKM Polio. So at least you're using UKM Polio, brilliant. You know, so you've got all that. Is there anything different, anything unique about the way you used OneNote for this semester that we finished? That we just recently experienced. Yeah.
So one of the unique features that I use OneNote in this particular MCO period is that I come up with these learning activities and schedules. Because before this, my teaching plan I'm just using manually written on the papers. So I just follow the timetable, the schedules, the lectures schedule, and the tutorial and so on. So I don't really keep track on the teaching planning. But once it's in MCO, and then I realize we have so many e-learning activities, and I want to make sure that the students have a more efficient learning. So it means that I have to give additional classes like revisions. And then videos on problem solving. These are the additional teachings contents that I developed during the MCO period to help the student to understand the content. Because in the classroom, student can ask questions, but during the MCO period, maybe there are some issues on the internet connections and so on. So their learning efficiency might be hindered. So this one I prepare revisions with additional revisions and then additional videos to help them to strengthen their understanding about that particular topics.
And I notice also, you know, usually when people prepare a schedule, a teaching schedule, usually the second column from the left would be topics, but yours is activities. So could you talk to us about how you manage, because your topic is towards the end. Because usually we will begin with, okay, topic 1. Topic 2 and all that, and then the assignment will be towards the end, whereas in your case you start with activities. So every week or every other week there is an assignment or a task or a quiz. Talk to us a little bit about how you manage that.
Because I think for me, from my opinion, I think it doesn't matter where I put the activities or the topics, but because in my view the learning activities is more important. So I put it at the front here.
I agree.
Because the activities will decide on the way how we deliver the contents. So that's why I put the activities at the front here as a reminder for myself that I need to have a quick revision exercises, learning, deliver a new topics, to have a quiz here, and particular topics will be at the corresponding end here.
Brilliant. Okay. You know, because I'm not familiar with OneNote, I'm pretty much a novice when it comes to technology. I'm learning slowly myself. So when you set up OneNote, using OneNote for Windows 10, because before your webinar just now, I checked that I have OneNote for Windows 10 on my Surface Pro. So when you set up your OneNote for Windows 10, so you've got your list of students there. How do your students access your OneNote for Windows 10? Do they have to register? Do you put their email address? Do you share the link with them? How does that work?
Okay, so this goes back to the registrations. So normally for OneNote, I will wait. Let me share on the subject. So okay. Before we go to the class notes book, okay, normally we have to create a course in Microsoft Teams. So once you create a course in Microsoft Teams, then you can manage the team. You can add members. So you can include the students here. So you can just type the email of the students, and then you can just add them to the group, or we can share the link for the students. So we can just share this link with the students, and the student can join this course using the link given. So once they enroll into these Microsoft Teams courses, they will automatically have a class notebook account.
Right. So you're saying you set up your learning, the teaching and learning using OneNote for Windows 10, but it is synced into your Microsoft Teams.
It should be the other way.
Oh,
the first step should be creating the course in Microsoft Teams, and then we open the class notebook.
Okay.
So once you have the course in Microsoft Teams, actually all the courses in Microsoft Teams, automatically there will be a class notebook for it.
Right.
So once the student join in this course in Microsoft Teams, automatically they have the class notebook in their maybe in their Windows 10 OneNote, or maybe even in their font and so on. They just need to switch it on.
Okay, but like the page that you showed us just now, your teaching planning and everything, you do all that before you set up the Microsoft Teams for your students?
No. I set up the course team first.
Brilliant. Okay, so you do this, and then you go to your OneNote for Windows 10, and then you start planning, then you put the assignments there, so it will be synced automatically.
Yes.
Okay, good to know.
But preferably, if you look at the Microsoft Teams, it also has a class notebook tab here, but the functions is not the function is not 100% similar to the one in the OneNote. So if you want to fully utilize the functions of the OneNote, prefer to go to the OneNote, the standalone app.
Right.
For class notebook under Microsoft Teams, it's just for maybe a quick, if you're just looking at the contents and so on, so you can use this because this is the built-in or embedded app into the Microsoft Teams. So maybe some of the functions or features is not usable here.
Okay. You know, two of the features that you shared that I really liked, especially you know, when you're thinking of planning, was the teacher only. I like that part because it gives you the freedom to kind of brainstorm and think about how you want to plan your course without having to share anything with your students. I really like that. And the immersive reader, because like I said, I come from the humanities, so we do a lot of, there are lots of text that students have to read and understand and, you know, analyze and all that, you know, so I like the immersive reader very much. With the immersive reader, do you have to type it before it can be read, or can you have like a screenshot, you know?
I think for the current moment, it only can read out the text.
That means you need to type it in.
Yes.
For like if it's a poem, it says excerpts from a novel or whatever, it has to be typed in before it can be read out loud.
Yes. Okay. But just to comment, if you have an image or maybe you have a written equations and so on, you can insert audio.
Right.
You can insert audio, so the student can have using the immersive reading functions as well as listening to the audio, explaining the images and the equations. So yeah, actually they can have a full what they call audio learning session.
Right. Okay.
Another comment is that for teachers only, if this course is being handled by more than one lecturers and teachers, so we actually can share it with another teachers and a lecturer. So it's good for subjects called teaching by other lecturers as well. So both the lecturers can assess this and then edit it.
And the teacher would also enter through Microsoft Teams.
Yes.
And the teacher needs to be invited to this particular Microsoft Teams channel.
Yes.
And then she or he can enter and then do the editing and all that.
Yes.
Okay.
Another feature is that this is probably for primary and secondary school students. Actually, parents can have access to class notebook. So maybe for primary students, if their parents want to check on the homework of their children, so the teachers in the primary school can invite the parents, and the parents can access the students' class notebook. So they will know whether the students have unfinished tasks, homework, and so on. So yeah, we can involve the parents in the teaching and learning process, but I think it's more appropriate for primary school students.
And I'm assuming, like for instance, you've got a list of students there. So I'm assuming when Harisa's information cannot be accessed by Kim Min and
Yes.
Chen and Muhammad and all that, right? So on the students' end, they will only see theirs.
They will only see collaboration space, content library, and their own class notebook.
They don't see teacher only, and
No.
they don't see the other students. So it's a lot neater. So it's their stuff, right? Okay. Okay. If anybody has questions for Dr. Ang, please feel free to post your questions. We've got a few minutes before we finish the webinar for today. But so far, I've enjoyed the session, Dr. Ang. I think it's you showed us how to kind of like get it started. It seems quite easy. And I like very much, like I said, I like the teacher only section because you don't need to distribute everything that you have prepared. You get to decide when to and you get to prepare everything in advance. So I like that very much. And it seems very structured and very clear, and you get to hide certain things, you get to get students to collaborate with each other to solve a particular problem, and the colors, I love the use of colors. So it sounds like a very engaging app that can allow for active learning, even on an online platform like this. Yeah, so is there any questions from the members? Sekiranya ada soalan, mohon postkan di sini. Sesi kita akan tamat dalam beberapa minit lagi. Anything else, Dr. Ang? Okay, all this is grand. But I'm always trying to find the kind of like the crack, in whatever application that we have. What is the crack? So was there something about OneNote that you found lacking, that you found that, you wish they had this? Was there something about it that from your experience of using it?
So I think it's more to the what do you call it, the physical the physical shortage. So students, they need to have internet connections,
right?
A stable internet connections. And then, of course, if they have a tablet, that would be the best. Because if you want to write manually, you want to use the inking functions, that is best. That would be the best using the tablet, because you can use the stylus or maybe the pencil to write on it. So if you only have a laptop or maybe a desktop, then you wouldn't be able to fully utilize the inking functions of the draw functions of the OneNote. So that would be the part where it's more to physical problem.
Right. Okay. Okay. Doesn't sound like we have any questions, because no one has posted any questions. So I assume that it has been a very thoroughly engaging and enjoyable session, I hope. So I think on behalf of Pengajaran, Prof. Insinyur Ahmad Kamal Arifin, who recommended you, because he said, Dr. Ang's doing some awesome things with OneNote, we must invite him to share. So on behalf of Pengajaran management, we'd like to thank you, first of all, for taking up the invitation and for preparing a very engaging and informative and I think easy to follow, because we've had a couple of questions asking whether this is recorded. It is being recorded, so we will share the recording with everyone. So even those who are not able to attend this session will benefit immensely. So thank you so much, Dr. Ang, for this sharing session. And I'd like to thank everyone who attended this session. I hope it has been useful. And if you have Oh, okay. Sorry. Now we've got a question, and on the 11th hour we have a question.
Okay.
Oh no, it's not a question. It's a comment, Dr. Ang, from one of our colleagues. Been using OneNote offline, but never explore the online collaboration features. This sharing is an eye opener. Thank you very much. And I think that sums up that comment sums up everyone's feeling as well. So thank you very much, Dr. Ang, for this sharing session. And for the rest of you, I hope you will look forward to our coming webinars. in the coming weeks. So thank you so much for your patience and your participation, and stay safe and be well, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. So I can hang up?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wak mungkin nak share QR code sekiranya ahli masih belum scan. Bagi mereka yang belum scan QR code
boleh.
Sekiranya nak scan boleh je. Sebab ada beberapa ahli yang tak dapat scan pagi tadi masa kita start. Okay. Right. Terima kasih banyak kepada semua yang hadir. Mohon scan sekiranya belum scan kehadiran. So thank you so much dan Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.